From Kevin Durant reportedly responding to a fan tweet, to Jimmy Butler having unresolved beef with a former Timberwolves teammate, these are the times NBA players were rude to their former teams. Even if a player leaves a team meaning no harm, the fans just don't let it go. When Kevin Durant left the Thunder for the Warriors in 2016, even a whole year after it, folks were going bananas over it. Fast forward to 2017, where one fan shot a tweet at KD. It wasn't even offensive or anything, just a curious question about why he left the Thunder, besides the obvious desire for a shiny championship ring. But things took a wild turn from there. Someone replied from an account that might have been KD's. This mysterious person defended his decision to leave and pointed fingers at the Thunder organization, their coach Billy Donovan, and the team's overall lineup. But wait for it, those responses mysteriously disappeared as fast as they'd come. Once the internet caught wind of this little episode, it was like a hurricane of speculation. People were wondering if he was hacked, or maybe, just maybe, someone on KD's social media team went rogue. Could it be that Durant himself pulled off the ultimate trolling move by secretly writing in the third person? Who knows, right? But most people believe that Kevin wanted to defend himself, but not from his official account, and created a secret account just for this purpose. A hidden alter ego where he could fire back without the whole world knowing about it. While the tweet was still subtle, not everyone does it the nice way. There was a lot of bad blood between the Boston Celtics and Kyrie Irving, which became pretty obvious with the Kyrie sucks chants, echoing through TD Garden right from the get-go in Game 2 of 2022. I mean, it's not exactly shocking news. The former point guard for the Brooklyn Nets had solidified himself as the #1 enemy of Boston Celtics fans over the years. Even though the Nets were down 0-2 and heading back to Brooklyn for Game 3, you can bet your bottom dollar that all eyes were still fixated on Irving, no matter how the rest of this first-round series played out. History has shown that the spotlight loves to follow him around. But wait, before we dive into the juicy details of Boston's epic comeback win in Game 2, let's talk about the pre-game chatter. Everyone was buzzing about the hefty $50,000 fine that the NBA slapped on Irving for his wild outbursts during the series opener. I can't blame the guy for getting emotional after receiving such a ridiculously negative reception. First, he flipped off the Boston crowd, and then he was caught spewing some choice words at an individual fan. On the other hand, the Celtics fans had no reason to be angry with Kyrie by the end of the game. Well, he only scored a measly 10 points on a 4-for-13 shooting during Brooklyn's 114-107 loss. Quite a far cry from his impressive 39-point performance in Game 1, huh? Too bad for Kyrie, though. All this hard work and heroics were instantly erased from history, thanks to Jason Tatum's jaw-dropping game-winning buzzer beater. Players and fans getting mad at each other isn't that unusual. But when the coaches get involved, that's when stuff gets real. I'm talking about the time James Harden's former Rockets coach, Kevin McHale, took a jab at him. Harden didn't hold back when McHale made a not-so-nice comment about him on NBA TV. Kevin claimed James isn't a leader, and that didn't sit well with the Rockets superstar. He didn't waste a second and fired back at McHale, calling him a clown. Harden defended himself, saying he gave it his all to try and lead the Houston Rockets to championship glory. He was irritated that his former coach dared to insult him like that. James added fuel to the fire by saying McHale never taught him how to be a leader, and even took a swipe at Kevin's character. He pointed out that by insulting him on national TV, McHale showed everyone the kind of person he truly is. Let's not forget that Kevin was Harden's coach for over 3 seasons in Houston. He made these comments while discussing the Rockets on NBA TV, especially praising the team for acquiring Chris Paul and his leadership skills. To add some context, McHale was actually fired back in 2015, just 11 games into a juicy 4-year, $12 million contract. That must have left a bitter taste in his mouth. Harden believes that this bitterness played a big role in McHale criticizing him. While James's relationship with his team turned salty only in the end, Scottie Pippen has never been shy about expressing his frustrations. Combine that with him being pissed at Michael Jordan for the team's portrayal in The Last Dance. Pippen had an incredible career with the Chicago Bulls, but his time with them was just as much about his grudges within the organization as it was about those glorious wins. Now, you'd think that being one of the most accomplished basketball players in NBA history would bring some peace in retirement, right? Well, not for Pippen. When that whole hoopla around the Bulls' 90s dynasty was brought back to life with the release of The Last Dance, Pippen took matters into his own hands once again. And guess who he's got in his crosshairs this time? None other than the legendary Jordan himself. Pippen's beef is all about that captivating 10-part documentary produced by ESPN back in 2020. Now, it was supposed to give us an up-close and personal look at the final season of the Bulls dynasty. Well, it focused mostly on Jordan's incredible rise to becoming the greatest player in NBA history. And that, my friend, is exactly what has Pippen feeling a bit peeved. He claims that while Jordan pocketed a cool $10 million for his role in the documentary, not a single person from the Bulls dynasty, including Pippen himself, earned a single dime. Now, if you know Pippen, you know this isn't just about the money. Oh no, it's about something much deeper. Money and respect, my friend. It always seems to come back to these two things for Scottie. But with Kawhi Leonard, it was about something entirely out of his control. His relationship with the Spurs soured after he got injured. Back in the spring of 2017, he was the hotshot MVP candidate, leading the San Antonio Spurs to a whopping 61 wins. People were seriously considering whether he was the best player in the whole dang league. But a year and a half later, he's suiting up for the Toronto Raptors, ready to face his former team in their own stomping grounds. And let me tell you, it was a real rough homecoming for Kawhi. The fans let loose a chorus of boos, and even called him a traitor, as the Spurs beat the Raptors 125-107. Leading up to this dynamic showdown, things between Kawhi and the Spurs had gone downhill faster than a roller coaster. You wouldn't believe how quickly hard feelings and bad vibes spread in the last few months. They had been openly feuding or snuck messages back and forth like secret agents. Now, it all started with a mysterious injury that Kawhi suffered way back in 2017. Turns out, his quadricep was acting up and causing him a ton of trouble. But the Spurs and Kawhi's team couldn't agree on how to handle it. They argued back and forth, and all that tension eventually led to a major falling out. Sure, there were other reasons why Kawhi wanted to leave San Antonio, but the real trouble began with that injury and the souring relationship between him and the Spurs. The relationship between players and teams can lead to them requesting to be traded out. Not peacefully all the time, though. Especially not in the case of Jimmy Butler, exchanging heated comments with his former Timberwolves teammates. The drama between Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns is still alive and kicking, even after it's been more than a year since Butler made his dramatic exit from Minnesota, and the fans watching the game at home got a front row seat to their feud. During Miami's victory over the Wolves in 2021, Butler's colorful language was picked up by the on-court microphones and broadcast on TV. Yep, he was dropping some curse words aimed at Towns. While it's hard to make out everything they said, Towns seemed to take it in stride and even chuckled a bit. But Butler wasn't about to let it go that easily. This whole beef between the two started back when Butler played for the Timberwolves for a short time. He became famous for teasing Towns and his former teammate Andrew Wiggins about their practice habits, which eventually led to Butler demanding a trade to Philadelphia. When asked about the trash talk, the Wolves' promising rookie, Anthony Edwards, shrugged it off and called it just normal conversation that happens during games. Well, I guess in the world of NBA feuds, this is what you'd call normal. So, there you have it, folks. From Jimmy Butler having unresolved beef with former Timberwolves teammates, to Kevin Durant reportedly responding to a fan tweet, those were the times NBA players were rude to their former teams.